G'day and welcome to a RetroTinker Quick Fix video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to fix O-ring G.I. Joe figures when you can't get the torso apart. Now, a lot of toy collectors will be familiar with the O-ring assembly in G.I. Joe and other similar toy lines. The torso is connected to the waist and legs by a rubber O-ring. This allows figures to have a bit of durability, flexibility and posability. It was a great simple idea, however there is a big drawback to the O-ring assembly. Whether through play, humidity, or from the cruel passage of time, O-rings tend to stretch, snap, or downright disintegrate and need to be replaced. Now, for most G.I. Joes, this isn't a big deal. You undo a screw on the back of the figure, swap out the old O-ring, and pop it back together. However, some figures, such as version 3 Storm Shadow here, the bodies are glued together. There's no screw. Some figures were even screwed and glued from factory for some reason, which presents a problem. Now, if the body is glued, you can't fix a broken O-ring without physically cracking the body apart, which risks damage to the figure. Or so I thought. Just a few weeks ago, this figure had a broken O-ring. Now, as you can see, the legs are attached. So I decided to make a video on how I fixed the issue. He's also got a broken crotch and green stuff on his arm here. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to do the O-ring fix. So we're not going to be replacing the O-ring with another O-ring. We're actually going to be replacing it with some of this hat elastic. I actually got this idea from watching Toypaloy's videos on fixing advanced Dungeons and Dragons figures. So you can see the elastic in there. First I'll have to cut the old elastic so we can see what's going on. I'm going to use some of this beading wire to loop around this post where the O-ring usually hooks around. This is probably the most fiddly part of the process, but it's definitely doable. If you bend a bit of a hook in the wire, it can help loop around the post enough to reach it with a pair of tweezers, and then you pull it through. I found that to get it around the post, you kind of bend it in a bit of an S shape, and once you get it to this point, if you can straighten your wire back up, you'll be able to get it around just a bit further. As I said, it's quite fiddly, but with a little patience you can get it done. I'm also using a small flat blade screwdriver just to shape the wire in there. Okay, I think I've got just enough there poking through that I can get it with the tweezers. Now I'm just going to try and grab it with a pair of pointy nose pliers. Aha! Success! So you want to pull a reasonable amount through, don't be stingy, cut your wire off, and then what I did last time was I just wrapped the end of the wire around the end of the elastic. I just tried to get it nice and tight so that it can't pull through. It may take a couple of goes to get it. Yeah, once you've got it nice and tight and it's not going to let go on you, just trim off the excess elastic because you don't want that bulk getting in the way. And all you need to do is carefully feed it back through the figure. Last time this worked first go. Let's see if I get lucky again. Now I am going to help it in there with the tweezers. And put it around, push it in a little bit, pull it around. Haha! There we go. Alright, the hard part's done. Happy days. So just leave a good length of elastic on there, don't be stingy, this stuff is cheap. Cut off what we don't need. Loop the elastic through the crotch piece, through his hook, pull it back through, gently pull his legs in place where he needs to be. And then carefully pull the elastic tight. And basically I just did a granny knot. Yeah. Pull it tight, as tight as your game. Do your second knot. In this figure, make sure the belt isn't caught up in the elastic so you don't tie it inside the body. Pull it nice and tight. Cut the elastic off where you've tied your knot. And then just poke it inside the body. And there you go, his legs are pretty tight. Last time I wasn't working around a camera, I managed to get them a little bit tighter than this, but still, he stands very well. He's poseable. I'm not going to redo it because obviously I'm going to have this figure apart again when I repair the crotch. It's not the easiest fix with having to thread that wire through, but it's doable, and it will save you the headache of having a snapped torso or having to deal with the arm mechanism. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good fix. And there we have it. Storm Shadow is ready for the shelf again. I know it's not replacing an O-ring with another O-ring, but I think this is a pretty good compromise. It uses readily available materials, and even working around the camera, it didn't take long at all. Plus, you can even use this technique on regular figures if you don't have an O-ring. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has been helpful. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like, leave a comment, give the old algorithm a tickle, it all helps. Thanks for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one.